Hey everybody, welcome back to Superhuman Customs. I'm Steven Human, and today we have a quick one for you. This is gonna be pretty simple. We're gonna take this Endless Winter Wonder Woman, and we're just gonna spruce her up. I've never liked how it's just yellow on all the gold here, so we're gonna gold all this up. We're gonna add a little bit of detail here and there just to make her really stand out. It's gonna be fun, but again, it's gonna be pretty simple. There's not gonna be any crazy stuff going on here, and sometimes it's really nice just to do that. So let's dive right in and make Wonder Woman look even better. What we're gonna be using mainly today are just some nice Vallejo paints. We got some brown, some other brown, and some gold. And we're of course gonna be using our favorite Vallejo Game Wash. And that is what we're going to start with. And we're just gonna kind of go over most of her with this wash. I just wanna get it so that she looks a little bit more weathered and that there's just more texture. I'm gonna try and avoid the yellow because obviously that's gonna be made gold. But everything else is gonna get covered in a light wash. Always remember to move the wash around a lot so that it doesn't pool up. This wash is obviously excellent. It is my favorite because it doesn't require as much movement. You can see here as it gets into these areas that are supposed to be leather, it really just does a nice job of going into those cracks and making it look weathered. Before I do the gold, which will of course be the big part of this figure, I'm gonna go through and I wanna add some leather details in here because she's got all these straps and stuff all over the place. And I want to make them look like leather. So I'm just using my magnifying glass, going through, and I'm already screwing up a little bit. And just use your finger, it'll work just like that. And I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna just make it so that all these little pieces of leather look like leather. And there's quite a bit all around on her that I wanna do. And these things are gonna go a really long way to making this figure pop. It's the same as always. If you go through and you pay attention to these little details, then you end up making a major difference on a figure in turning it from just a piece of plastic that represents a character into a work of art. This is how you do it. These little things like these leather straps. Oh, look at that. I think I might go through with a little bit darker brown afterward and do a dry brush on some of these. That'll just make it look a little bit more leather. But even right now, I mean, you can tell what a big difference it's making. I'm also gonna go through and just paint these areas right here, not all the way down to her hands, just as if she's wearing these little, like glove areas. I don't wanna have all of her hands be brown too. But I think that this will just add some contrast on her. And that's all I'm looking for. Again, I've never had this comic. It's kind of like with the Frost King. I have no idea what she actually looked like in there, and I honestly don't care. This is my version of her, and I'm gonna make her look however I want her to look. Now I'm gonna go through with a little bit darker brown on some of these areas and just kind of move it around a little bit. Just darken them up, just like that. A little bit here on some of these bits of leather. This will just make it so that it has a little bit more of a life to it. More texture. Texture is the name of the game when it comes to these figures. The more texture you can add, the more real they look. The handle of the sword is another place where we want to put some brown because it has leather in here. So while we have the brown out, I'm just gonna go through and add that. I'm gonna do the gold last, I think. I'm gonna do a couple different details here first on the character. And we're gonna do the gold last. I think that's gonna have the biggest impact, first of all. And it'd be cool to have all these other little things done when we do that. Next, I'm gonna do some stuff on her cape. I'm gonna add some gray fabric paint just as a wash over the top. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of white after that in order to give her just, again, some more textures. Make it look like this is fur, like it's some kind of animal pelt. That's what I want. It's great that it's already a dark color because I don't have to darken it up. All I have to do is lighten it up. So that's what we're gonna concentrate on now. Just going through this whole thing and just lightening up the cape so that she can look like this was a freshly killed animal. Well, maybe not freshly killed, but a dead animal, a skin of some type. We're moving into some white here. I'm going to go through and add like this lip here because it does look like fur. So I'm going to make it that it's a fluff. And I'm going to go through right now with just some white and make it so that it is just a light fur of some type. And then while we have the white out, I'll go over the cape as well. So I'm just going to go through and add this here. Just nice and light. Just using the white fabric paint that I usually use on stuff like this because it goes on nice and easy and it goes on nice and thin. See, that's looking great. I think I'm going to do it right here too. Why not? On her boots. That looks like she's got some there too. So while we're here, we're just going to do it here too. And as always, this paint will be a little bit glossier, which will make it look really cool on the cape because it'll make it look like real hair on the places where it hits, which I really, really like. And now a little bit of silver in just a couple of spots for some buckles and things. I've decided to add a little bit of snow to the boots because since this is a snow figure, just going to add a little bit, kind of like what I did with the Frost Giant. Just a little, not as much as I did on him, but just to add some nice textures here. I think all the details are done and there's no time like the present. It's time to go through and gold this Wonder Woman up. Do our last big thing. This, more than anything we've done so far, is going to make the biggest difference in what she looks like because it's going to make all this look metallic and it's going to catch the light really nice and just make it look like it's supposed to look. You know, she's not wearing plastic armor. She's wearing gold armor or some type of shiny yellow armor. I don't know. I think about gold. Gold is really heavy, so I guess she's really strong. So maybe she would be wearing gold armor. I don't know. In any case, we're going to make it gold and it's going to make it look awesome. Again, this is the more boring part because once you get going, you just kind of keep moving. Like whenever I'm using metallic paints, I always try and move in the same direction. I try and move down. It just eliminates any, streaks and stuff. And with metallic paint, you're more likely to get streaks. You don't want that. I mean, unless you're doing like you're trying to make like a brushed aluminum or something like that, in which case you will. But with this gold, I definitely don't want streaks. So I'm going to try and go down, give it the same motions, so that if there are, they will all look uniform, like it's meant to be metal. See, look at that difference. Look at how that's looking. So, so nice. Oh, we can't forget her magic lasso. That's got to be golden too. Come on. Last but not least, she's got this big sort of strap on her shoulder. It really stands out, so I'm gonna paint it brown so that it looks like, I'm not sure if it's what's meant to be holding her sword in, but I'm gonna make it so that it looks like that's what it's doing. I think it'll look better that way. And then I think we're gonna be done, which is awesome. Again, fairly simple, but a very stark difference. Last but not least, we're gonna add a little bit of red on the star here. All right, I take that back. I'm gonna do a little bit of some dry brush red here on her little armor pieces here, just to add a little bit of life. It's gonna go on nice and light, because this is a very light paint, and it will fill in the cracks. Should I be on the gold there? And that will add, my daughters are having fun out there playing a game, apparently. And this will add just a nice layer to it. There we go. She is done. Now, this took a little bit longer than I expected because I did do more detail work than I originally had planned, but man, I'm really glad that I did. She looks good from top to bottom, the back of the cape, everything. And the gold really just makes her stand out, makes it shiny, it makes a contrast against the more leathery textures of the figure, and then the fur and stuff. Really happy with this Wonder Woman. So that's what we got for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy all of the videos that I post. Not sure what I'm going to be doing next. It might be something simple like this. It might be something really big. I don't know. I'm going to have to sit and kind of figure it out over the next couple of days and hopefully come up with some really cool ideas. If you have any ideas, feel free to share them, and I will see you guys next week.